mind control experiments, frequencies that alter emotion. Chapter 1: The Hidden Frequency. You lie beneath an invisible canopy of silent waves, feeling the gentle rhythm of frequencies just out of reach. Infrasound travels below human hearing, below 20 Hz, yet your body senses its low, steady pulse. Each vibration is a traveling wave carrying energy through air and soft tissues, whispering hints of a hidden landscape in sound. In nature, infrasound travels through Earth. You become aware of undulating patterns, like sine waves drawn softly across your mind. Frequency and amplitude shape these pulses. Hertz describing cycles per second, amplitude defining strength. Though your ears detect 20 to 20,000 Hertz, your awareness drifts beyond that boundary. You feel the soft rise and fall of invisible waves brushing against neural pathways. Your brain performs pattern analysis effortlessly. As these silent oscillations settle, they trace corridors of memory inside your hippocampus. Real brain waves, delta, theta, alpha, move at defined frequencies between 0.5 and 30 Hz. You float with them as theta rhythms guide you through recollections. Each beat gently unlocks fragments of feeling tucked in the folds of time, carrying sense of long-forgotten places. Rhythms mirror your body's daily cycles. A subtle resonance stirs inside your chest. Every tissue, bone, and fluid vibrates with a natural frequency, like a glass resonating at a precise pitch. When a matching vibration arrives, sympathetic resonance amplifies the note. You feel your emotional blueprint shift as cellular structures echo the silent chords that surround you. Resonance shapes both technology and nature. In this shared vibration, a quiet door opens in your awareness. Sound becomes information. Patterns of pressure transformed by the cochlear's hair cells into electrical signals. These signals travel along the auditory nerve, weaving language out of pressure waves. You sense voices that once coaxed hope and sorrow from shadowed corners of your heart. Electrical signals connect vibration to feeling. The lingering hum invites your curiosity deeper, hinting at unseen harmonies within and around you. You wonder which hidden chords await discovery, ready to shape your next moments of waking insight and calm. Chapter 2: Resonant Skin. You rest quietly in a dim room, feeling a faint hum beneath your skin. A gentle shiver passes across your arms, like distant waves grazing ashore. In this stillness, you become aware of your skin as a living antenna, tuned to subtle signals wafting through the air. You sense electric whispers carried by ions, playful currents brushing against the surface of your flesh. Early scientists pressed metal electrodes against folds of flesh, curious about the secrets hidden in nerve membranes. Luigi Galvani discovered in the 18th century that frog legs twitched at electrical shocks, unveiling the first glimpses of bioelectricity. Later, Émile Dubois-Reymond mapped nerve signals by measuring voltage changes in living tissue, showing how neurons send and receive messages through tiny spikes of current. Your skin contains millions of receptors: mechanoreceptors that respond to pressure, thermoreceptors that detect temperature, and free nerve endings that hint at pain. Each receptor relies on ion channels, tiny protein gates that open and close to create electrical gradients across cell membranes. When channels shift, they spark miniature currents, translating touch or temperature into signals that travel along nerves to your brain. Sometimes, when you shuffle across a carpet or lift a soft blanket, you feel a tiny zap, static electricity jumping between fibers and skin. That sharp spark is a sudden flow of electrons seeking balance, a brief dialogue between charged surfaces. In that instant, your skin registers the electric field shift, and you witness firsthand how responsive your body can be to invisible forces. Researchers today use gentle electric currents in therapies, guiding waves through your skin to soothe pain or stimulate muscles. Transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, or TENS, sends controlled pulses that interrupt pain pathways and release endorphins. You imagine these currents as invisible brushstrokes painting relief across your nerves, reminding you that even unseen energy can shape your physical sensations and emotional calm. In the soft glow of curiosity, you wonder if these touchless currents could write stories upon your nerves, softly beckoning you forward. Chapter 3: The Cage of Neurons. You lie reclined in a quiet chamber of your mind, where shadows play against the contours of a vast twilight forest. Each slender tree trunk stands for a neuron, rooted deep within the soft soil of grey matter. Invisible currents of ions spark across cell membranes, sending tiny flashes along axons like fireflies tracing ancient paths. You sense the gentle hum of electrical impulses, alive with possibility. Researchers peer through sophisticated microscopes and radio waves, building a connectome, a map of trillions of synaptic bridges. Each junction glows like morning dew on a leaf, fragile yet precise. Functional MRI reveals how clusters of neurons light up in harmony when joy or curiosity stirs. You imagine those patterns forming constellations of thought, charted carefully to reveal how the brain composes its own symphony. Inside this living instrument, neurotransmitters drift like perfume breezes between synapses, carrying messages that shape each fleeting emotion. Dopamine tingles through reward pathways, while serotonin weaves calm across neural corridors. You feel the promise of guiding moods with gentle intervention, as if conducting an orchestra of feelings. Science hints at tools that could steady your heart's rhythm or lift the veil of sadness. And yet, a soft question echoes in the halls of your awareness. If thoughts can be shaped, what remains of your freedom? Each attempt to steer a mood resembles pruning a living vine. You alter its growth, but the vine still seeks the sun. Ethical questions shimmer in your mind like distant stars. Where does the observer end and the observed begin? You sense neuroplasticity in each shift of thought, as neurons reshape branches like vines toward light. Memories forge new circuits, and repeated ideas strengthen pathways within your brain. This remodeling reminds you that the mind's terrain is living, subtle, forever yours to wander. A subtle tremor in this thought stream suggests a frontier beyond neuronal walls, where the dance of molecules might meet the expanse of consciousness. You hold this spark of wonder gently, breathing with curiosity as you step toward what lies beyond. Chapter 4: Electric Whisper. You sense a faint pulse beneath your thoughts, like the soft strike of a harp string in silent air. That sensation travels through your mind the way an electrical signal travels down a neuron's axon, moving at nearly 100 meters per second. You notice the tiny spark of awareness at each synapse, where neurotransmitters jiggle free and open channels in cell membranes. In this quiet moment, you feel the ripple of energy stirring beneath calm skin. You recall the stories of experiments that train magnetic coils to hover above a restless forehead, delivering transcranial magnetic stimulation to coax neurons into harmony. In those clandestine sessions, scientists shaped waves of magnetism lasting mere milliseconds, yet potent enough to shift mood and focus. You imagine the coil's silent hum, the gentle curvature of magnetic fields bending through space, and you sense a deeper resonance in your own mental landscape. Now you drift into the domain of brainwaves, observing alpha oscillations floating between 8 and 12 cycles per second. You know that each wave represents relaxed attention, a threshold between wakefulness and the first traces of sleep. You feel them brushing across your cortex like wind across a meadow. As you place your awareness on these electrical rhythms, they slow your breath and lighten your chest, inviting a deeper, steadier exhale. In this space, you notice subconscious currents you never saw before. Your thoughts become particles caught in a gentle tide, carried along by the subtle push of magnetic whisperings. Each ripple carries both a question and an answer. How does gentle stimulation become a doorway to calm? You allow your mind to follow these currents without resistance, trusting the soft pulse to guide you toward unfolding insight. Beyond your field of vision, another layer of complexity waits in silence. The interplay of chemistry and electricity, of glial cells and ionic flows. You sense an uncharted melody humming just beyond reach, inviting you forward into the next chapter of discovery. Curiosity stirs, ready to explore how currents shape dreams beneath waking thought. Chapter 5. The Silent Brain. You settle into a gentle stillness, noticing the hush that spans your mind like a soft dawn. In this quiet, you become aware of the brain's constant hum beneath your calm. Even in silence, millions of neurons exchange tiny, precise, patterned electrical signals known as brainwaves. An electroencephalogram, or EEG, measures these rhythms. Your hippocampus replays memories faintly. Your brain often rests in alpha waves at 8 to 12 hertz, the pace of relaxed wakefulness. Occasionally, you drift into theta waves at 4 to 7 hertz, a slower rhythm linked to meditation and the first stage of sleep. You recall how early researchers sought to mute certain frequencies. They used transcranial magnetic stimulation to shift activity, or introduced masking sounds to calm tinnitus. These efforts show how specific pulses can soothe or even subdue regions of the cortex. You imagine the gentle thrum of a coil, focused on the temporal lobes, reshaping patterns with magnetic fields. Now you drift on this silence, feeling its weight as a feather would float through rising light. You sense your heart's rhythm aligning with the stillness. The parasympathetic nervous system eases your pulse, slowing down with each unfurling breath. In this state, the brain's default mode network becomes more prominent, a constellation of regions active when you reflect inwardly. By closing your eyes and tuning into quiet, you momentarily reduce sensory cortex activity as fMRI scans reveal, and strengthen introspective connectivity. Each moment reveals another level of quiet power. Cortisol levels dip, as studies of silent retreat suggest, and stress hormones soften. Baroreceptors in your blood vessels relay subtle shifts, tuning heartbeats to neuronal pulses. Your internal world expands as if the smallest actions ripple outward, creating a wider calm. You float here, held by tranquil brainwaves and a slower heartbeat, aware of silence as an active presence. In this hush, you wonder where echoes might linger, what traces of thought and feeling remain when all noise subsides. How far do these hidden echoes carry you beyond this silence and deeper into a soft, gentle mystery? Chapter 6. Quantum Tones. You lie quietly in a gentle hush, sensing a faint hum beneath your breath. Around you spreads a field of shimmering potential, like an ocean of invisible ripples. In quantum physics, this is called the probability field, an abstract landscape where particles exist as waves of possibility. You feel each wave brush softly against your awareness, inviting you to explore the subtle textures of reality. Inside this realm, electrons and photons dance in superposition, existing in multiple states until you observe them. Scientists describe wave-particle duality as a core principle. Under certain experiments, the same entity behaves like a wave, then collapses into a particle when measured. You imagine these tiny dancers performing a silent ballet, each pirouette holding a question, until your mind settles and the act becomes matter. Experimental physicists suggest that minute quantum vibrations, called phonons, course through every molecule around you. In crystals or in the proteins of your cells, these vibrations carry energy in quantized packets. You notice how sound and light also emerge from similar quantized interactions. Photons for light, phonons for sound. By imagining these tiny pulses, you sense a living rhythm beneath stillness, a quiet heartbeat in the fabric of existence. As you breathe, the edges of reality blur, and choices shimmer like particle tracks in a cloud chamber. Each decision in your mind nudges a new pathway in the underlying quantum field. Factoring in the observer effect, you realize that attention itself influences outcomes at microscopic scales. Your thoughts become instruments of measurement, gentle probes that bring a specific potential into reality, moment by moment. Gently, you open to the dance of possibility, feeling the subtle hum of quantum tones within your awareness. You understand that beneath every calm surface, a tapestry of discrete vibrations weaves the pattern of your world. In this quiet space, curiosity unfolds like a petal, urging you forward. Softly, you sense the next hidden chord, a microscopic revelation humming beyond your fingertips. Here, in the quiet resonance of possibility, you await new microscopic melodies, electrons probing atomic orbitals, yet unheard, ready to follow their gentle guidance onward. Chapter 7. The Empathy Algorithm. You begin by feeling the rise and fall of your own heartbeat. The pulse in your wrist reveals shifts in your mood. In physiology, heart rate variability measures tiny differences between beats, offering insight into stress or calm. You observe this pattern as a private conversation within your body. Each interval carries information you learn to interpret. Now you imagine soft algorithms tracing similar contours inside a computer. At their core, neural networks adjust thousands of internal weights to recognize patterns, like neurons aligning to spark thought. Data enters as numbers and emerges as detected emotion. You picture lines of code working gently, iteratively tuning through backpropagation. This quiet process embodies a simple principle. Feed enough examples and the system grows accurate over time. You sense these algorithms learn through supervised learning. Programmers label data samples with emotions, joy, fear, calm, and the model calculates a loss function to measure errors. By minimizing this loss, the algorithm improves. Gradient descent becomes a gentle hill, guiding each adjustment toward a faithful echo of your emotional state. You witness how angles and decimals conspire to mirror human feeling with warmth and nuance. Sensors in data centers collect signals from your body's electrical impulses. Electrocardiogram electrodes translate analog currents into digital streams at precise, constant sampling rates. Through Fourier transforms, the machine analyzes rhythms, decomposing your heartbeat into component frequencies. You imagine science breaking a complex melody into simple sine waves. Each step reveals a layer of truth, turning raw signals into a map of your inner landscape. You feel fascination and quiet doubt. Can true empathy emerge from code alone? Emotions have nuance that may elude binary logic. Yet you admire the elegance of decision trees and depth of convolution layers that scan patterns as a lens. The machine's ambition reflects our desire to connect, to translate the language of numbers into the warmth of understanding. As you linger among code and compassion, you wonder if deeper magic lies beyond every algorithm. You sense an unanswered question between binary paths and human hearts. This soft tension gently invites you forward, quietly. Chapter 8: Forbidden Broadcasts. You lie beneath a starlit canopy, mind attuned to whispers you cannot yet hear. In the hush of night, electromagnetic waves drift unseen. Each crest and trough carries energy across vast distances. Radio waves in the lowest frequencies slink past walls. You sense a subtle pulse weaving through the darkness. You imagine broadcasts once deemed dangerous pulsing across borders. Very low frequency, or VLF, waves travel thousands of kilometers through the atmosphere. Submarines once relied on these signals to receive silent commands beneath ocean depths. Here, you trace their ghostly outlines, how physics bends to carry quiet instructions under surface. You notice subtle shifts as amplitude modulation sculpts each broadcast. In AM, a carrier wave swells and shrinks to encode sound. FM, or frequency modulation, instead nudges signals' cadence. Both techniques transform electric fields into voices. Fact: modulation allows clear messages to ride waves without losing their shape through noise. You drift picturing hidden transmitters perched on hilltops. Shortwave signals bounce off the ionosphere like a celestial mirror, skipping across continents. Solar radiation excites charged particles at 90 kilometers altitude. This layer refracts certain frequencies, granting them global reach. You feel the echo of each bounce pulsing in your chest. As you listen, mind hums with rhythms. Delta waves drift below 4 Hz during deep sleep. Theta waves around 6 Hz shape dreaming. Electrodes in an EEG capture these pulses, translating brain activity into squiggles on a screen. You realize both mind and hidden frequencies share a language of waves. You lean closer, filtering static with each breath. Signal-to-noise ratio measures clarity by comparing useful information against background hiss. In radio, better ratios reveal crisp voices. Here, your attention acts like a fine-tuned receiver. Every inhalation refines the beam, reducing noise until the hidden melody grows clear in your heart. A distant hum beckons you onward, an unresolved frequency vibrating at the edge of perception. You sense a convergence of science and mystery, the promise of voices yet unclaimed. As the signal hovers just beyond reach, your curiosity swells, inviting you to trace its path deeper into the silent night. Chapter 9: Echoes of the Soul. You settle into quiet concentration, feeling a subtle tremor beneath your skin. A bird's chirp drifts in through open air, each note carrying a precise frequency measured in hertz. You recognize that frequency is more than a number. It is a pattern of energy traveling in waves. As you breathe, your chest rises and falls with a gentle 0.2 hertz rhythm, echoing the pulse of tides and tectonic slow shifts. In this moment, observation becomes a bridge between inner calm and the world's measured dance. In this calm awareness, you hear the echo of your own neural rhythms. Neurons fire in the cortex at around 40 times per second in beta waves, carrying signals across connected networks. You sense a hidden harmony as your heart's electrical field interacts with your brain's magnetic whispers. Like radio receivers, your senses tune into countless channels, filtering signals into meaning. This gentle filtering shows how technology mirrors biology. Circuits processing digital streams and synapses weaving thoughts, each relying on threshold triggers to translate raw information into understanding. As signals blur with your sense of self, you notice the world's unseen scaffolding. Electromagnetic fields pulse around every conductor, from copper wires carrying power to neurons mapping your intent. You feel a gentle pressure, like magnetic flux guiding tiny iron filings into patterns. Tumbling photons in the atmosphere scatter and gently reveal invisible structures, just as cosmic microwave background radiation unites distant galaxies under one ancient glow. Each instance reminds you that human invention and universal physics share principles of resonance, phase, and constant transformation. Your awareness deepens as a subtle resonance hums inside you. It carries the imprint of every secret code you have deciphered, from binary sequences to the delicate loops of DNA replication. You feel an intimate convergence where your breath aligns with molecular vibrations, reminding you that life itself is a symphony of interacting frequencies. Each heartbeat and thought now becomes both signal and reflection, merging your essence with the silent currents that shape existence. In this quiet afterthought, you sense a final whisper lingering softly on a thread of mystery that awaits your unfolding discovery. Chapter 10: Beyond the Mind's Edge. You stand at a quiet frontier where observation becomes inquiry, and every breath resonates like a distant drumbeat in the cavern of your mind. You notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest, as if ocean waves brushing a silent shore. In this space, your brain emits alpha waves around 8 to 12 cycles per second, creating a calm network across the cortex. The boundary between thought and dream feels nearly transparent. You sense a subtle shift as neurons fire impulses of electrochemical current, each spike a soft flicker of insight traveling along axons like lantern light in a tunnel. This cascade of signals unfolds across billions of synapses, weaving a tapestry of awareness that underlies every sensation. You gently explore this network, understanding that consciousness emerges from coordinated activity, an orchestra of cells performing in harmonious synchrony. In this gentle frontier, your mind hovers between logic and mystery. You recall that the thalamus acts as a relay station, filtering sensory inputs before they reach your awareness. Each heartbeat pulses through your body, carrying oxygen to neurons hungry for energy. The steady supply of glucose fuels your thoughts, an unspoken partnership between physiology and imagination. You feel both grounded and weightless, cradled by systems that pulse in perfect rhythms. You begin to sense the edges of perception, where waves of thought ripple beyond the visible. Brain rhythms shift into theta waves, around 4 to 8 cycles per second, inviting introspection and memory. Here, the default mode network softly hums, stitching past moments with present awareness. As you drift deeper, you realize that your mind is both observer and participant, ever shaping and reshaping its own reality in a dance of light and shadow. You sense that this threshold holds greater mysteries, where science yields to unspoken poetry of your own mind. The boundary dissolves, inviting you to explore realms beyond the measured, where intuition weaves through neurons like a whispered echo. Your breath slows further, and you rest in the glow of understanding, knowing that the next horizon awaits beyond the veil of awareness. A final question glimmers, guiding you into deeper dreams.